Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and I can be reached at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. If you have any interest in buying or selling a home in the Villages or in the nearby areas, please contact me at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. 2 points I'd like to make. First, we produce the show every Monday. Make sure that you check the date to ensure that you're getting the most recent information. The second point is that all of this information is from the MLS, the Multiple Listing Service. It does not include any homes that are for sale, new or pre-owned, that are listed on the Village's own internal listing service, the VLS. So let's begin. A lot of people have contacted me privately to ask me what I think home prices will be doing here. And while I do think that the villages will do better than the nationwide average, I do think it might be interesting to take a look at the median sales price of houses sold. This goes back over 50 years. And you can see the trend line that's been clearly established. Looking at the data, you can see that prices could certainly move down by 30 to 40% and still continue to increase at historical rates. Let's now turn our attention to what's happening in the villages itself. We start by looking at total listings. This week, there are 198 properties for sale in the villages. They range in price from $165,000 to $1.975 million. And if we take a closer look at what price ranges these listings appear in, we can see that once again the most active segment by far is the $300,000 to $400,000 price range. This week there are 71 properties for sale in that price segment. Last week there were 66, the week prior to that 67, the week prior to that 69, and the week prior to that 78. Let's take a look at what the median listing price per square foot is in the villages today. This chart shows us the median listing price per square foot. We're barely above $270 a square foot. Currently all listings in the villages have a median listing per square foot of $270.37. This is the lowest that we've seen so far this year, and down noticeably from almost $284 a square foot earlier this year. This chart shows us how long properties are staying on the market. This is the median time on the market for all listings. We're at 41 days, which equals the high that we've seen so far this year. Properties are remaining on the market for longer at this point than they have at any time this year. We can get a sense of how the market here is evolving by looking at new listings over the previous 7 days compared to pending sales over the previous 7 days. Over the past 6 weeks, the number of new listings has been less than the number of pending sales. For the most recent 7-day period, there were 21 new listings and 27 properties that went pending. If we want to take a look at what price segments are seeing new listings, once again, the $300,000 to $400,000 range has seen 8 listings over the last 7 days. The prior 7 days saw 9. Prior to that, 5, 6, and 7 prior to that. One piece of encouraging news is how long properties are staying on the market. Those properties that went pending over the last 7 days had a median time on the market of only 9 days, which is the shortest period of time that we've seen since the beginning of August. Certainly some encouraging news there. If we take a look at what the price change was on these pending sales, it's interesting to note that over the last 7 days, the price decrease on pending sales had a median decrease of 6%, which is double the 3% that we saw in the previous 7-day period. This is the greatest price change from the original listing price that we've seen since we started covering this data. Let's take a look at properties that sold over the last 7 days. These are properties that closed, and over the last 7 days, we saw 32 properties close. Certainly activity does seem to be picking up. Maybe buyers are responding to seller price reductions. If we take a closer look at properties that closed over the last 7 days, we can see in what price segments there's been activity. 16 properties between $300,000 and $400,000 closed. The previous 7 days saw 14, the previous 10, prior to that 6 and 9. Another chart which seems to indicate buyer enthusiasm is the median time on the market for properties that sold. Over the last 7 days, the median time on the market for properties that sold was only 8.5 days, which is down by more than half from the 18.5 days in the prior 7-day period. Looking at the median price per square foot on properties that closed, we're still hovering between $260 and $265 a square foot. There are some outliers, but it doesn't seem as if properties that close are moving much beyond that 260 to 265 price range. And the last two things we'll look at are what percentage of properties have had a reduction from their original listing price. Over the last 7 days, 53% of all active listings on the MLS have had a price reduction. This seems to be consistent with the increase that we saw starting in the middle of July. Taking a look at what the percentage decrease is, the percentage decrease from the original listing price for all listings on the MLS is currently 4.77%. This is almost the highest that we've seen since we started covering this data. So that concludes our look at the Villages real estate market. Once again, if you have any interest in buying or selling a property in the Villages, or you'd like to know what your property is worth, or you'd like to be kept up to date on new properties in areas of interest to you, please connect with me at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Hope to hear from you. Take care.